Okay, it's not really Las Vegas out there, but there are winners and losers, and there's nothing random about it.
Micro just works a lot better for some people than it does for others. But this video is a follow-up to Micro 10 questions in 10 minutes. If you haven't watched that one yet, then I suggest you do, and this one will make a lot more sense.
So who doesn't do so well out of it? Well, anybody with higher expenses. And I'm going to give you the example of a food truck. Food trucks generally don't take millions and millions of euros, so you could well be within the turnover threshold for a micro. Remember, for a commercial activity, it's about 188,000 euros, and you need to sell a lot of burritos to get to 188,000 euros. But just because you're within the turnover threshold doesn't necessarily make it a good idea for you, and I'm going to show you why. And remember, who says expenses says VAT. Everything that you pay for is going to have VAT on it, and you can't claim any of that VAT back again. Then all of those things, or any combination of those things, could completely wipe out your profit. Except remember, you will still have social charges to pay, you will still have income tax to pay, because they are based on your turnover, not on your profit. So who does really well out of this? Well, people who work from home. I've put here BNC, Profession Libérale. So these are people who work from their computer, their telephone. Really all they need is an internet connection to be able to work. So they have almost zero professional expenses. And seriously, who doesn't already pay for a telephone and an internet connection? And I want to show you the example of one of these businesses with a turnover of 70,000 euros. So it's doing well for a micro, it's doing very well. But as you know, out of that turnover, there are social charges and income tax to pay. Now here I've included the income tax with the social charges. So that's going to make a total of 23.4% of the turnover. So that's going to come to a total of 16,380 euros over the year. But at the end of the year, the tax office is going to assume that 34% of your turnover has been spent on professional expenses. And if that were the case, that would come to a total of 23,800 euros, leaving you with a theoretical profit of 29,820 euros. But in reality, your real professional expenses have been so low. I've put here 3,000 euros, but in reality, it could be even lower than that. And what that means is that your real profit comes in at 50,620 euros, which works out great for you, because this difference in expenditure between 23,800 and 3,000 euros, that extra 20,000 just goes straight in your pocket, no social charges, no income tax. And if you are a micro who finds yourself in this position, then stay this way. The micro is working for you. If you are in BIC services, maybe a gardener, then you might want to pause the video here and take a screenshot of this page. You'll see that your expenses allowance is higher, 50%, but also your expenses will be higher too, because you'll be doing a lot more mileage. However, if your real expenses are not too high, then this can also work out really well for you. The building trade is very particular. I do think that it can work as a micro, but I also don't necessarily see it as a long-term solution. Because it's so particular, I've asked somebody who has a lot of experience in the building trade as a micro to come and talk with me about that. And that's a video that will hopefully be out within the next couple of weeks. Don't forget to subscribe and then you won't miss it.
So that's the money that everybody likes to talk about. The other bit that's not so sexy, but it does still need talking about, is social protection. The good thing about the micro is if you don't earn anything, then you don't pay anything. But that's also a double-edged sword, because if you don't pay anything, then you're not necessarily entitled to anything.
100% guaranteed. They all have minimum requirements about how much you've paid in social charges and how long you've been paying them. And if you can't meet those minimum requirements, then your rights to all of these things could be severely negatively impacted. But the big one that we haven't mentioned at all here is retirement. Where is your pension coming from? So maybe you know you're getting a pension from a previous job that you did, or maybe you've invested in property and that's what's going to bring you your retirement. Maybe your parents are super, super wealthy and you're fairly confident that you're going to inherit a fortune, or maybe you won the Euro Millions and you're actually just doing this for fun. Whatever the case is, you must know that you cannot count on micro to pay you a decent pension.
As an entreprise individuelle, to calculate your retirement, they will take an average of your best 25 years of work and then they'll give you 50% of that. Now, if your micro has not declared very much money, then you will be getting 50% of not very much. So to sum up, if you can make the expenses allowance work for you, and you have all of your healthcare covered, and you have private pension arrangements, the micro can be a fantastic option for you. But if any of those things are in question, then you might want to think really carefully before you jump into the micro and decide that that's for you. And in the meantime, if you're wondering who is this random woman just coming along and telling us how to run our business, then my backstory is up here.